Hi, 8th graders. Okay, this is going to be a review from last night's homework, number 9 and 10, the cat in the hat question we started in class, and the angle question for number 10. So your job here is to set up a system, and then solve that system. So we're going to start, let me find a pen here. So we're going to start by reading it. The cat in the hat went to the store and paid $3 for each widget and $7 for each gadget. The cat in the hat bought 14 items and paid a total of $66. So the question here is, how many widgets did they buy? How many gadgets did they buy? So my let statement, I'm going to say X is the number of widgets, and then that would make Y the number of gadgets. Looking around the room yesterday, a lot of you just wrote widgets and then gadgets. Be more specific. Is it the cost of the widgets? Is it the number of gadgets? Be more specific. Number of gadgets. So then I got to dissect the information they gave us. There's 14 total items. Well, isn't that the number of widgets plus the number of gadgets to get 14 total? The other big piece was they paid a total of $66. Money comes from $3 for each widget, which is X, plus $7 for each gadget, which is Y, to pay $66 total. Now I'm looking at this, I see the x's plus the y's equal the number. This is set up for elimination. The problem is if I try to add them to eliminate, I have 4 x's and 8 y's. They don't eliminate. So I'm going to decide, do I want to work with the x's, 3 and 1, or the y's, 7 and 1? So most of you, when I worked with you, said 3 and 1. So if this is 3, I have to make this -3 to cancel. So I'd multiply him by -3. But I have to keep this equation the same. I need an equivalent equation, but this is -3. So all the parts are going to get multiplied by -3. So when I do that, this is going to turn into -3x minus 3y equals -42. Same equation as the original blue one, but it's negative times -3. Nothing needs to change here. Just going to bring it over, right? Bring it over so I can add to eliminate something. So if I look at this now, I'm adding, those are going to cancel out. -3 plus 7, that's going to be 4y. These are different signs subtract. Again, I can just use my calculator. Let's see, 6 minus, that'd be 4, that'd be positive 24. So I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. Y, because x is eliminated, y is 6. So that means the cat in the hat bought 6 gadgets. So I have one of the 2 answers I need. So now I'm going to go back. How do I find x? Pick an equation, whichever one's easier to you from the original choices. For me, x plus y equals 14 is the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to we'll go black here. So this is the equation I originally had, one of the 2 I had. I don't need y anymore. I now know it's 6. So I'm going to replace y, or substitute y for 6. So to solve this for x, that guy is still missing. I'm going to subtract 6 because they're adding. I'm going to do the opposite. X is 8. So they bought 8 widgets and 6 gadgets. So the last thing I need to do is to check that. So they said x plus y is 14. X is 8. Is 8 plus 6 equal to 14? Yes, it is. That's true. So it checks. Label my checks here. So the other equation was 3 times the number of widgets plus 7 times the number of gadgets is 66. So I think x is 8. So 3 times 8 plus 7 times y is 6. It's supposed to be 66. 3 times 8, that's 24. 7 times 6, that's 42. We're going to add those to see if we get 66. So I got 6 ones. 66 equals 66. It checks. So this point, x is 8, y is 6, checks out on the second and the first. So I can go back. My solution is right up here. The number of widgets is 8, the number of gadgets is 6, that's y, that's x. Done. On the back, again, you have let statements set up. So if you read this, the sum of 2 angles is 110 degrees. The first angle is twice the second angle plus 5. So what's unknown? The first angle and the second angle's measure. So I can say x is going to be the measure of the first angle, and then y would be the measure of the second angle. So I'm going to go through the sentences, pick out what they told me, and use that. The sum means the answer when I add. So the answer when I add the two angles is 110. So the first angle plus the second angle equals 110 degrees. The first angle is, so the first angle I said was x. Is means equals. Is the same as, is equal to, twice the second. So twice means 2 times the second, we said was y, plus 5. So then I got to look at, here's a system, 2 equations, 2 variables. It's not set up for elimination, right? This is x equals, not x's plus y's, but x equals. So can't I take this expression to be y substitute, plug it in for, or sorry, x's substitute and plug it in for x. So I can't solve this equation the way it is, but I can rewrite it as the new x, which is 2y plus 5. So it's still x plus y equals 110 degrees. But instead of x, I'm using the substitute, so now I have one variable. I can solve this. There's nothing out front to distribute, so I really don't need those parentheses in there right now. So to solve this, I'm going to combine all the y's. There's 3 y's. Still have plus 5 equals 110. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. 3y equals 105 degrees. All right, so my last step is going to be to divide both sides by 3 so I can figure out what y is. So 105 divided by 3, I'm getting 35 degrees. So I'm going to go back. Y is 35 degrees. How do I find x? So again, I'm going to pick an equation that seems easier to me. There's no wrong choice. Pick one that looks easier. I'm going to go with x plus y is 110 degrees. I don't need y anymore. I know it's 35. So something x plus 35 is 110 degrees. So if I subtract 35 on both sides, I get x equals 75. So that means the first angle is 75 degrees. So the last thing I want to do is check that that answer is correct. So we thought, we're going to check, and my solution is 75 for x, 35 for y. X plus y is supposed to be 110. Is 75 plus 35 equal to 110 degrees? So that would be a 10, that's 10 and one more, that'll be 11. 110 is 110. It checks in the first equation. Second equation was x equals 2y plus 5. We think x is 75, right? The first angle is twice the second plus 5. That's 70 plus 5. And if I add 75, 75 equals 75. It checks, it works out. All right, so at this point, we're going to put our homework away to start your test. I don't expect you to finish your test today. You're just starting it, getting a few questions in, because sometimes substitution and elimination with the checks can take a little bit of time. So the only thing you're going to need for your test for the rest of the mod is to have a pencil, to have your calculator, and to have a ruler. So once you have those things, the substitute can hand out your test so you can start. Good luck, take your time, read carefully.